Hello, everybody. It is Becky from Living the Dream Quilt Shop. How's everybody doing tonight? As you can see, I need a haircut. Somebody want to come trim my bangs for me? It's hard when you don't have time to turn around, let alone go get your hair cut, but here we are. Who is ready for another week of the block of the week with this beautiful quilt sample behind me? Let me know when you say hey when you come in. Let me know you're here. We have a giveaway tonight. So we're going to start the giveaways this week. This is week 8 of the block of the week. So if you have posted to the YouTube channel community, you will be able to get in the block of the week. And, oh, I had it here. Let me see if I can get you guys to see my screen. If anybody is having trouble finding the channel, I'm going to help you find it tonight. So say hey when you come in. I'm going to get this up here for you. Close a couple of these extra windows. If you guys can, yeah, you guys can see the 4 boxes in the back. Let's see. 1, 2, yes. There's 4 new boxes in the quilt shop, and I am so excited. Tomorrow, after we close, I'm going to show you what's in them. I'm so excited. Seth won't let me open the boxes until tomorrow, and today's his birthday, so I hate to go against him. But I am so excited to open those boxes. I feel like a kid at Christmas. I just want to squeal. All right, let me bring YouTube up. And while we're waiting for people to come in and get ready to quilt our newest quilt block, I'm going to show everybody how to get in on this. And then if they're watching later, they can watch later. Let me switch this screen over here and see if you guys can see this really well. I need to get rid of this. There we go. And okay. So, I am just on YouTube. I'm not on my channel yet. But if I go to the Living the Dream channel, here's Living the Dream Quilt Shop. I'm just going to click on that. And up here you see all shorts, unwatched, watched videos. Somewhere here I should see. It might be different because I'm the owner of this site. Let's see. Here is this star. That is the actual Living the Dream Quilt Shop. There we go. So if you click on that star, you will come up with our actual site. There is Sharon Kincaid. Hey, Miss Sharon. When you see this, you'll see Customized Channel, and over here is Community. Just click on that Community button, and then you will see where you can post each week. You can share pictures. As you can see down here, Seth does the live drawings here. And you can see Sandy Wilmus' beautiful quilt sampler she's working on. There's one of Karen Bush's. I think she might be doing, yeah, 2. Karen Works doing a couple of them. There are her week 1 through 6. There's Seth. Everybody tell Seth happy birthday. It's his birthday. There's another block of Sandy's, Karen Bush. And we've got Karen Warwick down here with her other, let me see if I can get down here, her other colorway that she's using for these. So, beautiful quilts on there. If you go on, let me switch back to me. If you go on to the community and post pictures of what you've been working on every week from now until week 13, we're going to be giving away a prize to one of the people that have posted to the community. So make sure, get those blocks done. It doesn't matter if you're on the same week we are. There is a lot of people. We've got people from Jessica, I think her name is, from Belgium, is going to quilt along with us. I am so happy. So we've got a lot of other people, and let me see if I can't move this over here where everybody can see it. There we go. We've got other countries doing it with us, which is so exciting to me. So glad to have you all. So when you come in, let us know you're here. Say hey. One thing I do want to mention, a lot of people were confused. This is a live video. So if you watch it after the live, it and you comment, it'll come up under comments. But you can slide the comments over and see the live view comments. So either way, if you want to see what was being said during the live, you can switch that over to the live comments, or you can just put, or the live set that's called something else when it's live, isn't it? And then afterwards, it's just comments, and you can see what people have posted since then. But I was so happy to get that message from Jessica from Belgium. So happy to have you. You just made my week. All right, so first of all, I don't think we've got too many people in here yet, so I'm just going to go over the blocks that we have already done. And if you are interested in doing these, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go on to our other videos, look under the lives. I believe Seth's going to turn them into tutorials, but right now they're under the lives, weeks 1 through 7, and this is what you're going to see. So this was week 1. We did our basic 9 patch, and anybody can do this. Beginners, we've got a lot of seasoned quilters that are working on this. But beginners, you are welcome in. You can do every block in this, I promise. So that's week 1, the basic 9 patch. Week 2, we did the 9 patch with a twist. That video's on there. Shows you how to do it all. Week 3, this is the, I believe it was week 3 that we did this. This is the Alaskan Homestead block. We did the churn dash. This is the road to California. A lot of girls thought this was going to be hard, and they were so happy to be able to do something like this. I got a few phone calls on this one. They were so excited they said when they looked at this, they did not think they could do it, and they did it so easy in about an hour. And I was so pleased that they were so happy. This is the split rail fence. And then last week, I made a little bit of mistake. This is actually the diamond. And let me bring this back up. This is actually the diamond. And it is this block right here. So I did it a little bit differently. If you were with us, or you can go back and watch the video, I showed you how you can turn those squares around and make so many more variations of that quilt. So the one that I did was this one right here, and it turned out so pretty, I just decided to keep that. And Seth, I have lost, let's see, I've lost me on here. How did I? There we go. Let's see if I can move this over and move my chat where I can see me. There we go. Okay, there's Karen Warwick. Hey, Karen. How are you, honey? Are you ready for another week? And today, we are actually going to make Crystal Star. So, I misspoke last week. And I got confused between diamonds and Crystal Star up here. But we actually did this block last week. I let everybody make their own design. It was called the mystery block because there were so many variations. I wanted everybody to be able to make what they wanted because this is your quilt that you're working on. So different variations, and as you can see, I'll hold this up right beside of it. Can you? So you can see I did a totally different variation than I did when I made this sampler. And I'm really happy with that variation. And today we'll be doing Crystal Star, which is this block up here. And it's very fun. All right, Karen is ready. And first we are going to do a drawing. Because I told you girls, get your pictures on the community page and I will do a drawing for a free gift. All right, so let me cut these out. I only have 3 girls in the drawing. So if you like winning, the odds are really good. All you have to do is get the blocks done. In order to enter anything on the community page, you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. And Karen, I believe, if I'm right, when you signed up, it took about 24 hours to get into the actual community where you could post after you signed up for the subscribed, right? I'm going to drop these 3 names into my little basket here, my little Easter basket, and we're going to mix them up. So I'm playing fair, mix all of these up. Oh, Sharon, your birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, honey. Don't forget, you have an extra % off at Living the Dream Quilt Shop. Okay, the winner, Karen Bush. Karen Bush. So Karen wins this week for posting her blocks on the community page. Now, next week, it's only, and this went for all of the 8 weeks. So this coming week, it's whoever posts on the community site pictures of any of the blocks you've done. You don't have to be caught up with us. It can be just the 9 patch. But post pictures. We want everybody. There are like 27 girls working on this sampler quilt, but we only had pictures from 3. So I want to show you what Karen has won. She'll be tickled pink. This is the Lori Holt Needle Minder. Isn't that beautiful? And this is called, I think, Basket of Flowers. I don't see a name on it. I can't believe she didn't name it. We're going to name it Basket of Flowers. It's a needle minder, but the neat thing about Lori's needle minders, especially the bigger ones. Oh, let's see. I might not have the right pair of scissors. Yeah. It holds your scissors. So if you're doing a binding, there is a big, thick magnet on here, and it looks like she's got 3 little ones behind it. You can just attach that to the back of your work, pop this on the front. When you quit working for the night, attach your scissors, attach your needle, and when you get up and go to do it the next morning, instead of going through your work like this and ouch, getting stuck with that needle that you stuck in your fabric for the next day, it is right here for you to see. I love these. These are normally $15.98, and if you want your own, you can go to the link in the description to livingthedreamquiltshop.com, put in needle minder, and you'll see a list of all the needle minders we have. But Karen and Sandy and Karen Warwick, I totally appreciate your participation. Make sure you girls get pictures in this week so you can be in the drawing for next week. All right, let's get started. So today we are doing Crystal Star, and what we're going to need, this week I took notes. Let me just say real quick, when I started this, the reason I started this was all of these beginning quilters had no faith in themselves. All of these quilts can be done by beginners, every one of them, and every one of them are free online. So I got them all offline, and you can find it free too. So today's square, Crystal Star, is from fabric406.com. So I'm even going to type this into our chat so everybody can remember free pattern fabric. Whoops, let me see. www.fabric406. Oh, I typed 407 and I typed it again. 406.com. That is where you can go to get a bunch of free patterns. Not all these patterns are from Fabric 406. I went to plenty of websites to get these patterns to show everybody you don't have to have a lot of money to do these patterns. I am doing it on the most basic machine I have to show everybody that you don't have to have an expensive machine. You don't have to have expensive fabric. You don't have to have a lot of rulers. I'm doing it with the basics so you guys can see too. That is all you need. All right, so let's get started with tonight's block. And by the way, Seth, if I didn't say it, happy birthday to you, honey. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go over here to the cutting and ironing table. There we go. Can you guys still see me? Am I still in that block? I want to make sure. I might be able to scoot this over just a little bit. There we go. And scoot this over a touch to make sure I'm in that block. Okay, so I'm going to use, because I haven't used a lot of this blue yet, I'm going to use this orange and this blue for this one. If you can see up here, the last time I used the pink and my border fabric in the star. But I'm going to use the orange and the blue because I haven't been using the blue a lot in this. So, what I need first, the background, whatever color you want your background to be, you need 4 3.5-inch squares. And let me get my ruler out here. And I think I have enough room right here. Yes. So I have my fabric doubled over. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Get those 4 first. And you guys can cut right along with me. And make sure that both sides of your fabric are even, or cut a little extra so you get both sides the same. You don't want one square being short. And 3.5. Oh, there, my ruler moved on me. Okay, there's 2 3.5 squares. And now I'm going to cut 2 more. And now I have my 4 3.5-inch squares. Those are going to be for our outer corners. Now, for the inner corner, we're going to do 12 half square triangles. I had a few girls that were having problems with their half square triangles. So when they were sewing them, and I'll show you more while we're doing the squares, but while they were sewing them, they were coming up a little bit short. Normally, you can cut, if you've been doing half square triangles for a while, you should be able to cut 4-inch squares and come out with your 3.5-inch square once these are finished. If you have trouble getting that 3.5 inches, I want you to cut your squares at 4.25, and I'm going to cut mine at 4.25, and then when we square them up, they will be right. Okay, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we need 6 4.25 or 4-inch squares, depending on your level of quilting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut a whole line here of 4 1/4. I need to turn this around. I'm backwards. I'm not left-handed. I don't know what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4, and I'm going to need to square that up here. Sharon Kincaid, are you doing these squares along with us, honey? Or are you just out watching? And Seth is almost done with the first 2 tutorials from the block of the week, which is great. So that way, during the lives, I kind of wait for people to catch up. But on the tutorials, you can just watch me do it all the way through. It's going to be, of course, the lives are over. So if you need to, you can just pause instead of, thinking, oh, I'm getting behind. I'm going to have to wait. You can just pause that stream, get your stuff done, and then hit play again. So that makes YouTube is great. Okay, so now I'm going to cut. Here is my first 2. And this makes 4, so I'm going to need 2 more of these. And I'll do like Eleanor Burns. Just flip it over my shoulder, right? Only I'm the one that has to pick it up after the show. Or my girls will come in and kill me tomorrow. And let's see, there are those 4. And I need 2 more. And Seth, I love you for hanging out with us on your birthday. I know that's what Seth has always wanted to do. I put some pictures of him on the web page today. Seth, I hope you didn't mind. I had to brag a little bit. I even got his first sewing machine. During COVID, Seth got a little teeny tiny sewing machine. I think I got it for the girls, didn't I, Seth? For my granddaughters. And Seth was actually sewing masks for his crew in the Navy underneath him. So I even had that picture I added in for it. But Seth does all the behind-the-scenes work, technological-wise. He's doing an app for quilters that is going to be out next week, right, Seth? And we've got 12 testers that are really putting him through the paces, making sure that app works. And those 12 testers are all quilters, so they are loving this. Okay, so I've got the 6 backgrounds. Now I need 6 of the blue square. So I think, let's see. Oh, I can't see the other side. Let's see if I've got enough on here for a, nope. If I do this side, yes. I am just going to fold this over. And I'm actually going to get 8 squares. But I'll be able to use those squares in another block, so I'm not unhappy about that. I just keep turning my material the wrong way. Yes, Karen's going to be so happy. I don't know where she's at tonight. Maybe she's still testing the app, Karen. I know Karen Work's one of the testers, too. Seth is very happy because he knows that this app is going to work because you girls have made sure that everything's going to work for this. So when we release next week, we'll have no worries. Okay, so I'm cutting at 4 1/4 so I can show the girls that we're having trouble that it really works to just cut an extra 1/4 of an inch. Now let me go down and square this up. I wanted to Get that selvage out of there. End that fold. So now I have 4, and I just need 2 more. And if you come in late, say hey, let us know you're here. We love having new people. And if you have any questions, please just post them up there so we can see them. All right, I have all of my squares finished here. And what I need to do now, while everybody's catching up, we need to mark on the back side, the wrong side of the fabric, we need to mark a straight line from corner to corner of our square, just like we did in the prior weeks. But there might be some newbies joining in that wasn't here for that. Now, you can even mark with a pen, because you're going to see in a few minutes, we're actually going to cut straight down this line. We're going to sew on both sides of it, so you're never going to see those marks. And it's amazing how quickly you can make these squares and make a beautiful sampler quilt. And for those of you that are new, even if you do one square, you can make a whole quilt out of these squares, and it makes the most amazing pattern design. You can add sashing to the blocks around each block, or you can just sew them together, and it makes such a beautiful pattern. Or you can do all the different sampler blocks and make a great sampler quilt. How many people are sewing along with me today? So I can see if we need to wait for people to catch up, we can stand and stretch. We have Princess Roblox from North Carolina. Welcome in. How are you doing tonight? And have you done any of the other blocks with us so far? I am actually going to be stopping in Broadway, North Carolina later this month to see my aunt and uncle. Are you anywhere near Broadway? And while we're waiting for everybody to catch up, I drew the lines down my lightest colored blocks because it's easier to see. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put right side to right side and match my squares up. Now, if you feel better about it, you can pin these so they stay together. It's pretty easy to keep the squares together, but feel free to, let me find my pins here. I know I have, there they are. My little pin hen, I don't know how my pins got out of my pin hen. Might have had somebody in the quilt shop playing. I hope it wasn't a little child. All right. Got my little pin hen here, holding my pins. So you can actually pin these so they hold together. And I have a bad little cut here, but I made these big enough that that's not going to matter. It's well within the 1/4 inch, and we're going to be squaring these up because we made these a little bit bigger for new quilters. And there is my best friend Maggie. She needs to be over here doing these squares. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Becci.
How are you?
I'm good.
You want to come sew with us? We've got a couple people in here sewing. Greensboro, North Carolina. How close is that to Broadway? I know Maggie here would like to go to the to Asheville, North Carolina. We have been dying to go to the Biltmore. How close are you to the Biltmore? We actually got in the parking lot of the Biltmore and couldn't go one time. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. You're under the weather. Is anybody sewing along that I need to wait for, or do you girls just want me to go ahead? If there is somebody that is doing this along with me, just tell me, because there is no problem standing and stretching for a minute. And I know there's a little bit of a lag time, so I'll wait just a minute to see if anybody is behind and or needs me to wait to catch up. Move this machine over here where you can see better. Move this around where you can see. There we go. Everybody got quiet on me. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sew these blocks together. Now, to refresh, I still have my four 3.5-inch squares here that's going to be for our outer corners. And now I have 6 of these little sandwiches here that are my 2 colors we're going to use on the crystal star. Okay, so I have my line drawn down the middle. Now, for anybody that's new here, I have washi tape on my machine that is directly in line with the 1/4-inch foot. The problem is, when you're sewing down the middle of this triangle, it covers that washi tape. So make sure that you're either using a 1/4-inch foot, or you have a mark on your foot that will show you where your 1/4-inch is. And let me show you. Right here on my foot, if you can see this little line going down through here, that is my 1/4-inch line. So I know that from the middle of my needle to right there is a 1/4 of an inch. And that's what I want to follow. So some of you that had trouble last week with the half square triangles, it may be that your 1/4-inch might be a little bit off, and you're used to following the line on your tape, but this covers it. So make sure you have that marked on your, some kind of a mark on your foot that tells you right where to have that. So Maggie, this is the one we're doing this week. Nice. And here's the blocks that we have done so far. Always helps to have your best friend in the shop. She is the reason for living the dream quilt shop, by the way. So, right there is the reason. You can all thank her. Years ago, she forced me to go to a quilting class that I didn't want to go to because I couldn't sew. So anybody that's a beginner out there, look what it leads to. This is what happens when your best friend forces you to a quilt shop. It becomes an addiction. All right, so I'm going to sew down. I'm going to chain piece these. For anybody new here, chain piecing just means you go from one straight onto the other. Makes it nice and quick and easy. You're not cutting thread after each block. And here's the ones I've pinned. That did not seem like 6. I have just sat right here and lost 2 blocks. Are you kidding me? Did I sew? I have lost some blocks here. How did I do that? What did I do? I've just done the impossible. Are you kidding me right now? Maggie, did you steal my blocks? What did I do? I cut 6 of them. You guys watched me cut 6, correct? And I don't think I ever got up. Alright, I might have to cut a couple more blocks if somebody wants to catch up. Karen Warwick said, thank you, Maggie. It's all her fault. Her and my late husband who told me to live my dreams. So I am. Thank you, Jeffrey. Alright, I'm going to sew these 4 together again. And then I'm going to, I guess, cut some more because I don't know what I... Sitting in one place. Does anybody else lose things sitting still? I'm going to have to go back on the camera and see what I did. So now when I flip these around, I cut them right here on the sewing. Let me see.
Right there's 2. So the iron.
Oh, they were under my machine. I moved the machine over. See, I'm as crazy as I look. And when you flip it over to do the other side, it's so easy because you just go right off one, right onto the next. And now I will add these 2 in that I just found. Seth, I told Seth this morning, the nursing home is not far away. I wasn't lying, Seth. Oh, she's about 3 hours away. She's from Central North Carolina. Well, welcome in. We're glad to have you. And if you like what you see, anybody that's on here, make sure you hit subscribe. And you can catch all of our videos, tutorials, podcasts. We're just having a lot of fun. Live sales, open box. Tomorrow is going to be an amazing open box. Seth, I don't know if I can wait until tomorrow. For everybody that's new, my son Seth does all the technological stuff here, and he told me I had to wait for the open box, and your Aunt Maggie may not let me wait, Seth. It might just have to happen tonight. All right, so there we have our 6 blocks, and what we have done, we drew the line right down the center, and you can see that I've sewn a 1/4 inch on either side of that line. So I can take my pins out now, stick them back in Mrs. Hen. And I'm going to move this machine back out of the way and just separate these. And I'm going to cut right down the center on that pin line I drew on. That's why I told you that pin line will never see the light of day. So you can, it's perfectly fine. Pencil, pen, marker, chalk, whatever it is you want to draw that line with, so you can keep a 1/4 inch to each side. And I do have better scissors. I don't know why I'm using my paper scissors for that. And if there's any questions, please pop them up on the screen for me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Alright, so now we have all those cut. I am going to bring my beautiful pressing board up here. We sell these in the shop. They are locally made by one of the Dream Team members, Pepper Dinsmore, and her husband Dave. Beautiful. She does them in all kinds of styles. You can check them out on livingthedreamquiltshop.com. And I'm going to press all of these to the darker side. So if you guys have seen me do this before, I hold the darker side up and then I lay my iron down and I just kind of press in to just push that just a little bit to make sure it's not gumming up. And then when you flip it over, it's nice and flat on that side. So we're going to do all 12 of these. This used to be my least favorite thing to do, but now it's pretty relaxing. Now you're going to see on this one, I've got a little bit of a lip. It's not going to matter because I made these at 4 1/4 instead of 4 1/2, or instead of 4. So when I square them up, I'm going to square that off. And if I don't square it exactly all the way off, when I do my 1/4 inch seam, I know that's a little bit less than a 1/4 inch. It will not be seen. Rotary cutters open. Karen Wart, good call. Thank you, honey. Good call. I hope Sarah Davis isn't on here. Sarah gets me with that a lot. So Karen, what is your symptoms, honey? What are you feeling like? What has got you down? So my sons, some of my sons, are letting me go on a cruise in the end of May, 1st of June, and all I keep getting is these videos on this ship where everybody is sick, and then texts on people dying while they're snorkeling, and I haven't gotten any good news from the cruise ships. Now I'm nervous.
Dying while they're snorkeling?
Yes, yes, a man in the Bahamas, Maggie. In the Bahamas or Norwegian. And another woman, I think she drowned. I can't remember where she was at, but it's like, why? Why are all these people dying on cruises? And now this one cruise ship can't even dock. They've got all hantavirus or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, Cecil's a little nervous. You feel like you got hit by a Mack truck, you poor thing. Is Wayne taking good care of you, or is he still down for the count? All right, we have all of those. Is there anybody behind that needs to wait on me to catch up? And why is this asking me if I want to exit? No, I don't want to exit. I hope that's not pausing for you guys. All right. So I'm going to put this away, and we need to square these squares up, and then we almost have a block. So, for those of you that haven't seen before, now here is a perfect example. So why I tell you to push that over. Can you see that little lip here at the top of this block? So if I don't go back and re-iron that open, see how it's going over? That is just a little bit over, and that will make your block wonky. So I need to make sure that is open, and I don't know, right there is how much that is over. How much of a lip that has. So that's why I say always give it that little push, and apparently I didn't push enough. So I'm going to hold that like that and just press that so that is nice and open now. Okay. Oh, that is wonderful, Karen. There are not many men that are not feeling good and will take care of their wife. Believe me. Because when a man's sick, it's way worse than anything we've been through, right? Okay, so, oh, I moved the machine and I need to square these up. Okay, so if you haven't been with me before, this is a square up ruler. The best thing about them for half square triangles is this 45 degrees going down through the center. So what you do is you lay that 45 degrees right on that line. And then I want 3.5. And I have, because I did 4.25, I have plenty around the sides to get that 3.5. So all I have to do is square this up on the first two sides. And then I'm going to flip that right around. Put that line right back on there. And see how much room I have around the edges? Plenty. So for you girls that were having trouble coming up short on the half square triangles, just make them a 1/4 inch bigger and you'll have plenty of room so you can get that nice 3.5 inch square. Who would have known when you took me to that first class, right, Mag?
That's right.
Kicking and screaming, everybody. Kicking and screaming. And I love it now. And I love her for it. There is 2. Cecil's in there, Maggie. He went to the hospital today. Karen, you might be dehydrated. Cecil wasn't feeling good and he went and was dehydrated. Yeah. And I don't understand how he drinks enough water that he's like a camel.
Does he take diuretics then?
Yeah. Yep. He was telling me the reason the doctor told him, but I couldn't remember. But his diabetes and something else. And I was like, I think you're oversaturated. He drinks like 10 or 12 waters a day. So I couldn't believe he was dehydrated. And it is so easy with this line. Just make sure when you are squaring up, like I need 3.5, and that 3.5 is well within the boundaries of this side. Make sure when you're squaring this side up that you can see the line you need to see on the fabric on the other two sides. Always better, if you've heard the saying, measure twice, cut once. You don't want to redo a square. And then you just put that right on the 3.5 inch line and get that perfect square. Did you find any fabric you liked, Meg? I didn't know if we might have something that would go with that. The new shaw top material, there's a couple greens that I thought might look good with it. A dark pine that might look good with it. Maggie is doing a quilt out of an older line. If you girls remember Effie's Woods. Beautiful fabric. But you know how it is when you do a line after you haven't worked with, after it's out of print, and you're always short on something. Anybody ever had that issue before? Everybody is so quiet today.
They're working.
If you just came in, say hey. Let us know who's around. I can't believe Karen Bush isn't on. She must be eating or sleeping. Is she taking a nap? She's been keeping Seth busy on the app. Maybe that's what it is. She's finding some more apps for Seth to build. Alright, I've got about 3 more of these to do. Here is that one with the white in it. So remember, we did it a 1/4 inch bigger than we needed. So when I put this on, I can even bring it to right here. And that is still cutting the white off, and I have plenty around the outside. And now flip it around. I've got the 3.5 by 3.5, my line going nice and straight up the middle. And there you have it. 2 more to go. And if you remember, I had a little jaggy piece on one of my squares, but I know that's way less than a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to go down below that. Make sure I see plenty of space there. And I will square this block up. Flip it around. Square it up again. And that little patch is gone. Perfect square. Okay. So now let me throw my little scraps away. I was throwing them behind me like Eleanor Burns, Meg.
Well, you can do that.
I told him I'm the one that has to pick it up, but it's worth a shot. Okay, so now we're going to do our design. Does anybody working along need to Oh, you're literally talking about it now, Seth? Tell her she missed winning tonight, but she still won. Even though she wasn't on here because she was busy with the birthday boy. Okay, so now we are going to make Crystal Star. So on the first line, we're going to need one of our blocks, one of our solids. And then we're going to take and make the next one like this. We're going to do like a V here. So see, that's the top points of our star and another square. On the next line, we need our star points over here, and our star middle is going to go like this. And nope, another star point. There we go. See that coming out? Isn't that beautiful? All right, now we need another V here. And we need 2 to the middle. And this star point. So we have our V here, our V here, our V here, and then all of these are to the middle. And then on our outside edges at the bottom, we've got our solid block again. And then we need another V here. Let's see. Is it that way? Yeah. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so we are going to sew these together. And if you all remember, for those of you that have been with me before, let me move this machine down. Okay, so the easiest way to keep track. Now, I know one of the girls had a problem keeping track last time on Road to California, and she got her rows mixed up and sewed it upside down. So what we always want to do, we want to take the farthest right block, flip it over onto the next block beside of it. Do that for all 4 of these. Okay, got those all flipped over. Now I'm just going to simply pick this up. And because this is a solid block, I don't have to worry about any nesting with this side. I just need to put it down and sew that 1/4 inch seam. And I'm out of thread. That didn't work well. Let's see. Yeah, my thread broke. Doggone it. Well, let me rethread my machine here. I knew it sounded awful quiet.
It always has to be something, doesn't it? It always has to be something.
Always something, yes.
It has to be the bobbin.
Yes. All right. Now we'll try that again. Okay, now on the second piece, when you pick it up, we're doing this side right here, and you notice we have these 2 points coming in right here. When I open this up, see how that looks like a box? I want this to walk right up and nest inside of that. And as you can see, this seam is pointing this direction, this seam is pointing that direction. So it's going to nest right inside of each other. I'm going to hold it down about 1 inch. I'm going to put my thumbnail below it, and I'm going to walk that right up there. And you can feel it fit together under your finger. So I'm going to put that right under my foot at the 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to sew that right on. Some of you might like to pin that. That is perfectly fine. Or I'm going to show you on this one, because now I'm going to show you how to do the clips. So now on the third one down, you're also going to have those seams meet right there. So you want to walk that right up. Now look here, you can see that that's a little bit over. I want to move that over so it's perfectly aligned. And I'm going to walk that right up to the edge. I'm going to feel it with my fingers and make sure this is straight over here. And then I'm going to clip this block right here in the middle. So the clips work perfectly too. If it's meeting at the bottom, you might want to clip it down there, or you might want to pin it right there. When it gets up to your clip, just let it go. If I'm working with smaller blocks, I generally don't pin or clip. A larger block or a border I need to meet up on, you'll see that I'll pin those. Alright, so there is our first row. I'm going to lay that just like that, right down here. That is our first 2 rows sewn together. Now, I'm going to take row 2 and flip it to row 1. right on top of each other. And we are almost done with our blocks. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. This is a solid block. I don't have to worry about the seams nesting with the other side. Just going to sew that right on. This next one here, we have the nesting seams. So I'm going to make sure they're nested together. I'm going to hold it with my finger instead of pinning it. Sew that right on. This one here is right at the top. See, I was over on that one. If I wouldn't have checked it, it wouldn't have come out right. You want those points to look nice. And lastly, we've got that solid block, so we don't have to worry about nesting. Okay, so now I have 1 and 2 sewed together, 3 and 4 sewed together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in place, right like that, and leave them right where they belong. I'm going to move the machine out of my way. Some of you might have a nice little ironing area behind you or beside of you. These over. Okay, and I am simply going to open these up, and I always hold my one side up, if you guys can see that, and just press it a little bit toward the edge to get that nice flat seam behind it, like that. Just lay it back down there. Oh, I turned that around. Okay. And see, as you're laying it out, you can make sure there's my V, there's those meeting in the middle for that diamond. And if anybody has any questions, throw them up there for me. We got a couple people online now watching. Make sure you let me know any questions you may have. Alright, now I'm going to start on rows 1 and 2. I'm going to iron toward the darker side, so I just turned that upside down. When you're a new quilter, if you press toward the dark side, when you have your quilt long-armed or when you quilt it, it won't show through, especially if you're using a lot of white. You don't want the darker material showing through the quilt with that white when it's long-armed. And as you will notice my points here, we have a 1/4 inch, it's a 1/4 inch down, so when I sew these together, that's going to take that 1/4 inch away, and there's a nice point. So sometimes when I first started quilting, I would think, and I did a few times, I cut this straight across here thinking, oh my God, why do I have so much room before my point? What I wasn't thinking was that's your 1/4 inch to get that nice point. Oh, we've got this one backwards. There we go. This is going to be a pretty block. Alrighty, who's in for the home stretch? We just have a little bit more to go. So now everybody knows the rules, right? We are going to take the top right and flip it to the top left. Now, here again, we have nesting. So I'm going to walk that up there. I don't have any nesting on the bottom right now because we have that solid block. But I'm going to make sure that the middle also meets. We want that middle to meet, so I'm going to walk that up there. And I'm going to put a little clip in it. And then over here, because I'm getting ready to put it on the machine right there at that spot, I'm just going to hold that with my thumbnail, put it under here, and put the foot down on it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and break thread instead of sewing that, just so I can show you. So now I have this triangle, and I've got that 1/4 inch where I'm, wait a minute, I just sewed it upside down. There we go. So we have a great triangle. Oh my goodness, I put them together wrong. Do as I say, not as I do. Maggie, would you look up there and see if you can find me a seam ripper, please? I can't believe I done that. How did I do that? Oh, I sewed the wrong length together. That's how I done that. Doggone it. Karen Warwick, were you not paying attention? Could you not catch me before I did that? All right, so row 2, we flipped it over. We're sewing one little side, not one long side. So do as I say. I'm going to walk this up here. There should be one over that direction somewhere, Maggie, or maybe over in one of these machines. I cannot believe I did that. I'm the pampered sewer, not the perfect one. Yes, welcome to the world of quilting, where the seam ripper is your best friend, whether you like it or not. All right, let's try this one, see if I did any better. Oh, yes, there we go. Now I have the triangle the right direction. And I've got that nice 1/4 inch for my points. Is there one in the top of this 17?
There is not.
No, check the drawers below. There might be one in there. Somebody stole my seam ripper.
No, but you know I needed to buy a new seam ripper anyway.
Did you need to buy one, Maggie? Do you need a seam ripper? Your best friend definitely does. All right, so here we go. Once again, I sewed it the right way this time. Look at that. And that is turning out really pretty. Except, look here on this side. I am not liking how that's sticking up a little bit. And my point is right there at the edge. And down here, I've got a little bit of hangover. So I'm going to take that out. Thank you, honey. Let me rip this seam out and re-sew that.
Oh, it even removes loose threads.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
It is nice.
Love it. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this. Sarah Davis, the lovely Sarah Davis, showed me this little trick. I used to sit and rip each seam. Looky there. Easy peasy. Get all those threads off.
For the loose strings?
Yes, you can even use the end of it to take your loose strings away. That one does it
That
too.
one does it too?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Now let me even this up again, because apparently I was not good on the ends. And see, if I have it perfectly even on the edges, when I open it up, I am way over. See how far over that is? So I'm going to come over here and just make sure the top meets and the bottom meets, so I don't come off of that where those seams are nesting. And then that's going to go right there. Oh. Well, all my thread came undone again. What is going on? No, maybe it was just this. Oh. I'm having machine issues. We're having technical difficulties. So if this happens to you at home, don't feel like you're alone. It happens to the best of us. All the time.
All the time.
Yes. Alright, let's see if that looks any better. No. Why did that? Why is my... That is way more than 1/4 of an inch. I'm not sure why the machine... I had it right on 1/4 of an inch. That's strange. Okay, we're going to try this again. See, the seam ripper really is your friend. So when you run into these issues, don't think you're alone. You just have to methodically try to figure out what is going on. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to go off this back side and hold. Make sure those are still nested. Okay, and go right on the 1/4 inch. And let's see. There we go, that's much better. So there you can see that point is meeting up perfectly with those other points, 1/4 of an inch down. Much better. Okay. So now we have the 3rd row finished. Now I'm going to re-rip that first row that I sewed across this way instead of down this way. And we'll fix that before we do the 4th row. And after that, we only have 3 more seams, and we will have our beautiful crystal star. If you're joining in late, say hey, let us know you're here. Okay, so when you mess something up, you want to lay it back out before you try to sew again and get it wrong a second time. There's nothing more frustrating. And I know this, ask me how I know. So one night I was doing a t-shirt quilt. And I sewed I was in a hurry. I was trying to get it finished. I sewed the bottom row upside down. I had to rip and it's very hard to rip stitches from a t-shirt quilt. By the way, just so you know. What stitch length? Let me see. I can't read it all, Karen. Hold on. Move this chat over a little bit. What stitch length do I use? 8. 8 per inch. Sometimes I use 9 on the long arm, but I kind of like the look of 8 because it's got a little bit of a longer stitch, and it just shows a really nice stitch. What stitch length do you use, Karen? So that t-shirt quilt I sewed, I ripped it apart, I put my binding clips on, and I sewed it back together, and I opened it up. The second time, it was upside down. I was so upset. I stayed up another hour ripping that whole line out because t-shirt quilts take a while to rip. And I thought, I'm just going to do it and get it done. Three times I sewed the same row upside down. I left it. I went to bed, and the next morning I did much better. So if you start messing up a lot, take a break. It is the best thing you can do for you and the safety of your machine and your quilt. I learned the hard way. So definitely now, if I start messing up, I put it down and go on to something else or go take a break. All right, so here, let's check that one. Yeah, much better. There is row 4. Oh, I need to resew row 1 after I laid it out. Always lay it out and make sure it looks right. I'm going to walk that nesting up to make sure it's good. And this time I'm going to sew the right side. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, very good. There we have it. Look how pretty. Now, we just have 1, 2, 3 more seams left. I'm going to go ahead and press those middle ones that we just sewed real quick. Let me move this machine back a little bit. Just hold that up and press. Let me see, Karen said. Oh, I'm thinking stitches per inch. Yeah, I've got it on like 2.14, Karen. 2.14. Sorry, I was thinking stitches per inch. Yeah, a lot of people like the tiny stitches. When you start ripping seams, you will learn. You don't like those tiny stitches quite as much as you thought you did. All right. Okay, now we have all of our rows sewn. Now we're going to flip bottom up on the next one up. And this one I am going to pin. So I know when I flipped bottom up, I'm going to be sewing this side. So the first one, when I flip this back, I see that in this line, I'm not going to hit anything here that needs to be nested. So I just need to make sure that these two are lined up right. So I'm going to walk that up, and I'm going to put a clip right there. Now, when I get to the next one, I have two of those points I need to match. I want them to come in right at the same place. So I'm going to stick a pin right here where it crosses. You can see a little V where it crosses. I'm going to stick a pin right in the middle and make sure it comes up right in the center of that point. And then I'm going to go over here to the other side, and I'm going to make sure that needle, that pin goes right in the center of that point. So when I hold this up and I get those two in together, there may be a little bit of fabric sticking up from one side or the other. I don't care. I want these to meet. So now I'm just going to tuck this down below. And I'm going to go to the next one. And the next one is just two pieces that I need to make sure they're nested. I'm going to put a clip on those. You can put a pin in them. And then I have a solid block out here. So even though that's there, it doesn't matter as long as I just get to the end. I don't have to worry about nesting. Just make sure they're even. Okay, so let's get started on this second to the last row. Okay, so I'm coming up on the nested part. Let me bring this over. There we go. I'm coming up on this nested part. So I've got the clip on there holding it tight. I'm going to push my fingernail down on that, take the clip out, and I'm just going to let it go under the foot before I let go. You can be as slow as you need to. You just need to be careful. Making sure I'm on my 1/4 inch on my foot. And here I am coming up. I have this pin in here. Now what you can do, I'd rather use pencil. In here. I know that needle is right where I need it to be to go through to make a perfect point. So I'm going to have to pull that pin out. I'm going to make a little dot with my pencil. And I'm going to put my fingernail right against that as I pull that pin out. And now I'm going to very slowly send this under. And I'm going to make sure that needle hits right there on that point. Okay, now I'll just keep on going. This one is just where we have the seams nested. I'm going to hold my fingernail down. And keep sewing through there. And I'm going to hold my finger on the end because I've got both sides matched up there and send it the rest of the way through. Now, sometimes for some reason it messes up, sometimes it don't, but let's look at our work. And I am meeting there. I am a little bit off there, not by much. And there is almost a perfect point. I'm still a little bit off there. So it looks like it moved just a little bit. But I'm not going to worry that much about that tiny bit. Because when somebody looks at this, look at this quilt behind me. Can you see where I'm off? Quilters worry way too much about teeny tiny ones. When you have a quilt laying on your bed or hanging on your wall, there it is hanging. Can you see my mistakes? If it's a teeny tiny mistake, don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. If it's 1/8 of an inch, go back and fix it. Or 1/4 of an inch, definitely go back and fix it. But if it's just almost on it, a friend of mine told me, if you're riding by on a horse at 20 miles an hour, can you see it? If you can't, leave it alone. So we are going to leave that one alone. And we're going to try harder on this one. Let's see. Okay, so once again, I'm going to put the two edges together there, and then here, let me make sure I'm doing it the right way again. I have flipped this, well, we're going to flip from bottom to top. Okay, so we're sewing this seam across. So we have a square here, a solid square. So all we have to worry about is this seam nesting. We're going to walk that up with our thumbnail and mark it with a clip. Down here in the middle, we've got those two V's again. We're going to take our pin. On the back, you can see where the thread crosses. Put it right in, right where that cross is, and it should come out the other side, right dead center of that point. Go straight across to the other point. Push it in right on that point. Pull your pieces together. And I might not have had the pieces pulled together real well last time. That might be why that didn't meet. Oh, and I'm a little bit off on that one. And it also helps if you push the seam to the other side. If both seams are facing the same way, oh, that's still down. So I've got this seam facing that way, this seam facing this way. That sometimes helps when you're doing that. And then just tuck that in below. Now over here, we've got another one where we need to nest the seams and make sure it's even. Put a clip on it. And then the end looks like it's matching up pretty good. So we're going to send this through. And if you're following along and doing this with me, tell me how you're coming with it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm got a clip. I'm going to hold my fingernail right on that. Make sure you're following the 1/4 inch line on your foot. I'm going to mark right where that needle's going through. Or pin, I'm sorry. I'm going to hold it with my fingernail, pull the pin out, and slowly send it in so I know it hits right there. Now, I'm just making sure my material's straight while I'm holding my finger on that. Alright, now let's check these. Those are meeting good. There's us a nice point. That one is a wee bit off. If you can see that, this point is just a wee bit off. And over here, our points are meeting perfectly. So I'm going to press these. I am very happy with that. And you can even use Best Press on it. That always helps. I love Best Press. Move the machine up. Everybody is so quiet today. I can't believe Maggie came in and everybody quit talking. You guys can talk with Maggie around.
I need some Best Press too. I'm gonna add that to my.
See, I'm mentioning all these items so Maggie will add to her stuff over here. All right, now I'm gonna put some of this. And Best Press also has scents. If you guys didn't know, I love the peaches and cream. It's my favorite. You got the lavender. They smell so good. Okay, now I've got a lot of strings here. I'll get rid of those in a little bit. All right, so this is the last one. We're going to put these two together. We're going to flip the bottom onto the top, and I'll get rid of this mat. All right, so the very first one, we've got our two triangles here. What are we going to do? Does anybody know? We are going to stab that with our pen dead center. And look at it and make sure we are dead center. I wasn't dead center on that. Make sure you're coming up right at those points. And then we're going to go across. And we have these 2 points meeting right here. We're going to meet them dead center and push that pin through. And then push your fabric together. You might have to move one of your seams to the other side, and I do. So I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to push that seam over, and I'm going to hit that point again. Now, they nest a whole lot better when you've got the seams pointing the opposite directions. And I'm just going to make sure this is straight on the side, and then I'm going to tuck that pin in below. Now, to the center. So the center is all the same color, but that's okay. We can still see the seam. We're going to line that seam up and hit it with a clip. And now we have one more to do. One more triangle to hit. So get another pin. I'm going to make sure that one of my seams is facing one way, one the other. I'm going to come through that tip dead center right there. I've hit my point. Nope, I'm a little bit above my points. Might be the way I'm angling this. There we go. I am dead center on that side. I'm going to go across, hit this dead center on this side. Push the fabric up nice and tight together so they're meeting with that pin straight across. And then you're going to tuck it down below. All right. Bring that machine back over. We are on our last line. Can you believe it? Okay. 1/4 inch. Make sure you got that nice 1/4 inch and start going. Okay, I'm up on this first pin. I'm going to mark the spot where it's going through. Hold my fingernail really tight on that and pull that pin out slow. Send that through and make sure that needle goes right through that mark. Now I'm going to sew up to my next binding clip. Hold it down. Here comes that last pin. We're going to mark that spot. I'm going to hold on to it with my fingernail and slide that needle out so the fabric doesn't slide. And I want that to go right through that needle. And sew the rest of the way off. Alright, fingers crossed, everybody. We don't want to use that seam ripper again tonight. Oh, look at that. Look at that, look. Look at the points. I love it. Love it, love it. Let me get the ironing pad up one more time. And if you have any special requests for the ironing pads are $45, made locally. They have these nice little nylon feet on them so they don't scratch your surfaces. They've got this, I think, I can't remember what is that called, Cecil, on the back? Is it? But nice plastic on the back. They are very well padded with Insulbright and then a nice fabric over top. Great for classes, great for quilt retreats, going to Quilt Guild. Great for your sewing room if you don't have a lot of space. Okay, look at this. What do you think? I love it. There is my crystal star. Absolute. Is that also Karen Warwick? Is this also the Ohio Star? I can't remember if it has this in the middle or not. But look at how beautiful that is. And all that is 4 of solid and 12 half square triangles. How easy was that? So, if you like all of these free patterns, a lot of them came from fabric406.com. Make sure you go check out the others. Join us here. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe on YouTube. Join us every week. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we will be having an open box that is going to blow your mind. I can't wait. Sunday evening is the Sunday night social where we hang out and sew and talk and catch up. So join us for that. Every Thursday night we have the live sales. So join us for the live sales. You can win prizes and see new products and have loads of fun. We have a podcast. Check out our podcast called BNS. Really a lot of fun, a lot of things sewing, and a lot of things family. So join Seth and I for that. And I will see you all very soon. I thought that looked like the Ohio Star, Karen. So I wasn't trying to get you guys in for an Ohio Star. I'm a West Virginia girl, but congratulations, Karen. You just got one. So thank you all for helping me live my dreams. I hope you're all living yours. I will see you again soon. Have a great Friday night.